All right, guys, what an ending to a convention. I just want to start before we get into the analysis. I've been doing this all week, sort of dancing with the stars, judges, ratings. Liz, if you had to give it a number last night, give me a rating, 1 to 10. If you were judging last night, just give me the number.
Oh, the first half of Trump's speech was a 12 out of 10. It was one of the most outstanding, profound performances, genuine, sincere, serious, in addition to his usual humor and showmanship. It was so good. I was riveted, and I've watched a billion of these things. The second half of it dragged on a little long. Once I, looked at the clock and saw that it was past midnight, I was like, all right, time to wrap it up, sir. But I thought it was one of the most touching performances I've ever seen from him.
So hold on. Give me the number. What do you here? Give me your
12 out of 10.
12 out of 10. Come on. All right, Doug Collins, give me a score.
Are we talking about Trump's speech or the night?
Oh, good question. Gosh.
Oh.
This is why you're so give me both then. Give me your night and then your Trump.
Trump's speech, 9.5 for the first 25 minutes, and he added in the rest. The night itself, about a 9. It was really good. At times it showed what an RNC convention can look like.
Nan?
I would give the week something close to a 10. I thought last night was in some ways anticlimactic, just in that, I've been obviously listening to impressions from the world outside of my pro-Trump, pro-GOP world. And the ones we really need to win over are the folks who are wondering. So it was very sports heavy. That's a fair point. It was wonderful to see President Trump, who obviously was the star of the night. It was wonderful to see him with his family, so genuine, so warm. And an incredibly dramatic moment, obviously, to observe this man who had nearly been killed 5 days earlier be himself. So in that way, wonderful. I think there was, because the speech went on so very long, it was President Trump being President Trump in a calmer way. He was not combative, which was great. But I think there was a bit of a missed opportunity. So overall, I would give the night more like, a 7. I'm being a tough grader, but
wow. All right, I want Professor Wheeler because I like the way that Liz grades. Nan Hayworth, I'm never taking Nan Hayworth's class. God.
No, I want this man to win. And I know what he's capable of doing. And I thought the convention, I'd give the rest of the convention at least a 10. I thought it was amazing. The range
Sean, let me jump in.
The presentations.
Let me jump in. So I want to preface my good grade by saying, you know me, we've had many dinners together where the only thing that comes out of my mouth are negative things about every politician that you and I know. I am on principle, I dislike all politicians. So I certainly support Trump and I'm excited to vote for him, but I am not a fangirl of any politician. I, on principle, dislike all politicians. So when I give a grade like that, it's out of the ordinary for me to say that. And one of the reasons that I'm giving that grade is not only because his narrative of the attempted assassination was so touching and so sincere and so authentic. It's not only because of that, it's because of what some of the other elements of the night said to me. Now, when Hulk Hogan was up there on stage, I'm not his target audience, right? Like, I think that's a little absurd. It was sort of enjoyable, but also like a little bit much. But I'm not the one he's trying to reach by having Hulk Hogan up on that stage. The people that he's trying to reach are the working class man of America, the disaffected, maybe lower middle class, the people who thrust Trump to victory in 2016. That was his strategy in 2016, is to say the white working class, we know you've been left behind and I'm going to be your champion because I know the elite have screwed you over. He got away from that a little bit narrative-wise in 2020, and I love to see him getting back to that in 2024 because I think that's going to make a huge difference.
So
I would just offer this very quickly. I think those folks are with him. I would like to see, given the presence of an Amber Rose, for example, which was galvanizing, I thought that was fantastic to have her there. a Sean O'Brien, who's the working class guy, but they're clearly trying to expand the tent. So I thought last night was a bit more of a base sort of night, when I would love to have seen more of a broadening the appeal tonight.
So I think the thing for me overall, I will say this because everyone kind of like that was the best produced convention on either party. And it's not just me saying this. I was amazed how many people from the outside media world said the same thing. Even I think Harold Ford Jr., big Democrat from Tennessee, said it on Fox last night. The production, Nan, you mentioned Amber Rose, the variety of speakers, overall best 4 days of political programming I've ever seen in my life. I will say one of the things that each of you said, and Doug, I want to start with you. The first half of the Trump speech, when he talked about the shooting, and frankly, the tone throughout, and Liz touched on this in a comment that she made on X, that the speech was profound and touching. It was sincere and serious. I felt the same thing that Liz expressed on social media. Like I was like, wow, this guy, I've seen him privately be touched. I've always said that he has a hard time publicly ever showing that side. Maybe this is as close as it'll come. But one of the things that you guys all seem to say, and Doug, I just want to start with you, and then everyone can weigh in. I did feel like it kind of meandered at a certain point. The first part, and maybe that was fine because that's what everybody watched. But I was like Liz. By the time it rolled past midnight, I was like, whoa. But tell me what, I felt like either stop at the half hour or go back. But I was like, where are you going afterwards? He was giving shout outs to Sam Brown, the Nevada candidate. I was like, whoa, what's happening here? First half, 10 out of 10. And then it was like, where are we going?
Well, look, I think it's a normal. In many ways, it was normal, except for that first, but we saw this all week. You saw it in his eyes all week. You saw it when the family was by. You saw it when the grandkids were in the box. I mean, it was just different. And again, for those of us who've seen that other side of him off this camera, asking about your family, talking about your friends, what's going on in your life. That was, again, that's the part that's always attracted me, to Donald Trump in a different way. I mean, this is the candidate who goes to Ohio for the train derailment and talks to people. This is the person who goes and he speaks to those who've lost loved ones. And this is the Donald Trump. Look, that I've always said, when you see him like that, when he goes into, the pizza place, he goes into the Chick-fil-A's, the burger joints. I mean, that's the Donald Trump that relates to the every person in America. Joe Biden can't do that. And there's very few Democrats that can do that and don't come across the stage. Look, he made a comment one time in a speech that he was giving that I was at, and he made the comment, he says, I go on a long time, he says, because I think I have to entertain. I want to bring you something that makes you worth the wait to stay here. And that's always, he said this from the platform. And so I think he believes that from that background of entertaining and making sure that people get it, and it goes to a deeper part of him. If people showed up that long, to wait that long, to come to a rally of his or to come to a speech, he wants to give them something. He's wanting to and sometimes the only way he knows is to keep talking and to share funny stories and to share, things that he thinks of on the fly, which makes him endearing to some and off-putting to others. But I mean, look, that the whole speech was done what it needed to do. Anybody that watched the Trump speech, I will say this, I would have been concerned if it had stopped at 30 minutes. If you had only had the first part of that speech without any policy out, any of the other stuff, then I would have said, okay, this is going to be an interesting night or an interesting next few months. But it was two speeches combined. We'll see where it goes.
You know what they say, Sean? They say he took longer to wrap that speech than the female Secret Service agent did to holster her gun.
Oh, God.
To everybody's point, and Doug, to your point, I have, and nothing has deterred me ever. The whole aftermath of the 2020 election, and I live in the great New York metro, so I've had to be confronted by opponents all the time, and I'm like, I know that man's heart. It is a heart of gold. It is a heart that loves this country, that beats with this country. And I just would really love, that heart is a 12 out of 10. And what I would just love is for President Trump just to have honed that oratory just a little bit. 45 minutes would have been perfect. But that said, I think, people are not, that's kind of baked in the cake about President Trump. They know what his digressive style is like. So I agree with you, Doug. It was good to see that this man has the extraordinary stamina to be himself for an hour and a half. In that sense, it was very reassuring.
Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.